Hi, I just want to walk you through a little bit of the first stages of the process of completing the square. And what you're going to be asked to do today on the worksheet are two different things. The first thing is you're going to be asked to fill in a blank, or what number would you put in order to make both sides, start the process of what's called completing the square. So for example, if we have x squared plus, say, 8x equals, and it doesn't matter what it could equal anything. We'll just say 13 for right now. Okay, so let's say you had this. You have x squared and 8x, and you're looking for this number here. And what you're really wanting to do is you want to create a situation where this, when you factor it, would factor into the same two factors, maybe x plus 2 and x plus 2, or x minus 10 and x minus 10. You want both of those to be the same. So the key on that is that to understand that the middle number is always those two factors added together, right? So, if we had x squared plus 7x plus 12, we've been factoring this for a while, and we would factor that into x plus 3, x plus 4, because we know that 3 times 4 is 12, and 3 plus 4 is 7. We know that those numbers add up to give us 7. So what we're wanting to do is to create a situation where, again, it's x, and this, whatever I put here, I'm putting the same thing here. So I'm going to ask myself, well, what plus itself would give me 8? And that's obviously 4. So I know, with that being an 8, that this is going to be 4 and 4. So now the question is, well, what would this number have to be in order for that whole factoring to kind of happen? And if you think about it, well, 4 times 4 would give me 16. So I need this number to be 16. So we're going to force that to happen. We're actually going to write plus 16 on both sides of the equation. That creates this trinomial, which, if we were to factor, would factor into x plus 4, which we're going to write as x plus 4 squared. And then that's going to help us do the second part of this in just a little bit. Okay, so again, one of the first steps we're going to do is we're going to take half of the middle, pardon me, sorry about it being shaky there. We're going to take half of the middle number, okay, and then we're going to square that. And this is what we add to both sides. All right. So for problems number 1, problems 1 through 4, this is what you're going to be doing. You're going to have a blank right here, and they're going to say, what number do we want to put into that blank in order to complete the square? You won't have to do the whole completing the square process. They just want to know what would you add in there to make it happen. Okay, so give that a try. I've got a video there with the answers to kind of guide you as you do it. But then for problems 5 through 9, they're going to take you to this next step, or 5 through 8, they're going to take you to the next stage, and that is, what if we have it now set up? So let's say, for example, I have x squared plus 16x plus 64 equals, and we'll say this is equal to 9 for right now. Okay, so we've done half of the middle, which was 8. We've done 8 times 8, which is 64. We've added that. We've done all that work already. And now what would you do at this point? Well, what you would do next is you would factor. So we're going to factor this into x plus 8 times x plus 8, or x plus 8 squared. Okay. After you factor, then you would take the square root of both sides. Okay, so we're going to take the square root here, we're going to take square here, just like we were doing last week. That's kind of what we were setting up. So I get x plus 8, the square root cancels the square there. And the square root of 9 is 3, but remember, just like we were talking about last week, we have to think about both the positive or the negative square root of that. Okay. Last thing we're going to get the variable by itself. All right. So we're going to subtract 8, and this is going to give us x equal to negative 8 plus or minus 3. Okay. Now in a case like this, we'll go ahead and actually do that. So last step we're going to actually do is add and subtract. Okay, so in other words, what we're saying is we're going to go negative 8 plus 3, which is negative 5, and negative 8 minus 3, which is negative 11. And that'll be our answer then. All right, so we started over here with this kind of big trinomial, but it was set up for us with that 64, and then we could factor it, square root, get variable by itself, and then work it out. Again, the step before this will be what we do up here. Okay, and then there's going to be one extra step, very simple thing that we add tomorrow on that part. But for right now, this is kind of what I want you to be comfortable with, this process here. So that'll be problems 5 through 8. Try those again on your own. There's a video to help guide you in case you get stuck.